What is the likelihood that we see mortgage rates as low as 2% or less over the next year? That would have seemed outrageous just a few weeks or months ago, but I do believe that there could be a possibility that that might actually happen. Of course, this is purely conjecture, and I'm in no way implying that you should base your plans upon this, but just a few weeks ago, I was predicting that we would see fixed rate deals below 4%, and that's a genuine fixed rate deal with a reasonable fee, not a headline grabber like the one that State Bank of India had offered a few weeks ago with a fee of 5%, which effectively added 2.5% per year to the cost of the mortgage. And my last video that I made in December, we hadn't actually seen that yet, and I said, well, if it doesn't happen by the end of this month, then definitely in the first week or so of the new year we will see that happen. And the day after I released that video, we had our first genuine sub 4% deal. As you're aware, since the new year, every day lenders have been slashing their rates simply because their lending is down well over 20%. That is huge, and that is an indication of just how bad things are out there, and they are actually getting worse. The hospitality industry, retail sector have indicated that the end of last year, the beginning of this year has been their worst on record. The economy is grinding to a halt under pressure of so many interest rate hikes on the trot, which have not all filtered through yet. So every day that goes by, we are seeing more effects of all of these interest rate rises. This obviously goes back to the incompetence of the Bank of England, who did not act immediately with sharp, drastic measures to cut inflation and nip it in the bud. They let it get out of hand before they started to react, which is exactly what they did. And then they continue to just incrementally increase rates month after month after month, bringing us to where we are now. But our country cannot sustain a high rate because in the current climate, a base rate of 5% is high, and it is having a detrimental effect on the economy. Obviously, as you are aware, inflation beat the Prime Minister's target of 5% by the end of last year, but I wouldn't give him or the Chancellor the credit for that. It is more down to other factors. But the way things are going, the inflation rate is on target to beat or be below the Bank of England's target within a few months by the spring, summer, at the latest, I would say probably in the spring. However, on the current trajectory, it will not only beat their target, but probably overshoot it and heading towards the opposite, which is contraction, which it could be catastrophic for the economy. And as a result of that, and the way that things are going and unemployment increasing, I do believe that there is a real possibility that the Bank of England may exceed the expected 2 or 3 interest rate cuts, which are now predicted and have been costed into lending and mortgages that are being offered at the current time. So on that basis, I wouldn't rule out that at some point through this year, we have a 2008 style dramatic cut in rates to kickstart the economy, or rather to resuscitate it after they have strangled it to death. But time will tell. However, there are a few red flags in the background that we do need to watch out for. One of them, as you may be aware, is the crisis in the Red Sea, forcing container ships to avoid the Suez Canal and actually make their way round the Cape, which adds thousands of miles and significantly increases the costs of getting those containers to the UK, Europe, and wherever they may be going. And that is obviously or could be inflationary. However, the Suez Canal is the gateway to global trade, and I really don't think that they are going to allow a few rebels to interfere with that. So more than likely over the next few weeks we will see severe military response to it, and hopefully things will get back to normal. Aside from that, we don't know what's happening with Ukraine and one or two other places. Any of those could affect the cost of energy, oil, and we could have a repeat of what's happened in the past, but hopefully not. These are just things to keep an eye out for. What do you think? Do you think that there is a possibility that rates could come down seriously? I do believe we are probably on target for sub 4% rates by the end of the year, but I wouldn't rule out rates dropping significantly below that. There's only one way to tell. We'll find out in the fullness of time. Anyway, thank you very, very much for watching. As always, if you have any questions about property or anything to do with property, please feel free to get in touch by phone, by message, by email, whatever suits you. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.